Hi everyone, and welcome to Mimia Global's interview series about resilient leaders. Today we're going to speak to Andy, who is sat in Malaysia. And first of all, I would like, Andy, would you be happy to just explain a little bit about yourself and the company you work for?
Alrighty. So I currently work with Infinity Solutions, based out of KL. They've got multiple offices in Asia and in China as well. I work as a financial consultant. So really, what we're looking at is helping people identify, firstly, their financial goals, and we can look at possible solutions to help them get there. I last spent about a year in China, in Shenzhen, and now I find myself here due to obvious circumstances.
Okay, so you already kind of started this a little bit, but how did this global crisis impact you as a leader?
Um, I would say that the nature of my business means that, pretty much you have to be a self-starter. And so you are your own business, trying to meet clients, make sales, do all of that, right? So a large part of it, does require me to meet new people and to network, and to just get, you know, uh, my content out there as well.
Mhm.
So evidently in this period, it's just been hard. And as a result, it certainly stopped a lot of my plans or any activities that I had lined up. Yeah, and I'd say, to add insult to the injury, the business that I had been working for in China then decided to close their offices in April. So yes, and so I found myself in a position where I've had to, think laterally and get myself back on the horse.
Okay, so it sounds like many others, have been impacted quite heavily by this current crisis. But it also sounds like you've been quite resilient. You kind of just go back. One of the things I also heard was that you see yourself as an entrepreneur. You kind of go back to say, okay, what is it I can do? How can I use my network? Because I know that in Guangzhou and Shenzhen, South China, where I know that we met before many times, networking. Um, you have a great network. So how are you going to be using this to stay resilient? So what are the things, what are the tools, either the mental tools or the practical tools you're using to stay resilient during this time?
Ah, very good question, Reddy. I don't know if there's anyone in my network that can help me. I think we're all probably, like you said, in the same boat in varying degrees. But I think, if you want to bring it down to a singular value, I think just understanding really your purpose and your purpose, and just having the conviction about what you're doing. Do you still stand for this? Do you still strongly believe that this is what you want to portray to the world, or this is what your core business um, goal is? I think so. It just starts from that. I think that singular sense of purpose and objective, and then it leads you down to the other paths. What leads you back to that original objective,
Mm-hmm.
because there's going to be so many curveballs thrown at you, whether it's the virus or whether it's something else. It's yeah. Um, so understanding that is, I think, so important, so imperative. But also, I think having a certain degree of flexibility, and understanding compromise as well, right? Um, I feel that, okay, if my original goal is not going to work out, what do I need to tweak, or what do I need to amend to fit in line with that, to get me to where I want to be? So I suppose even in my personal circumstances, that's what I've had to do to work out a solution to still fit my goal.
Mm-hmm. So what I'm hearing a lot as well here is there's a lot of reflectiveness, like what is your core, what is it really you want to do? So even though it has been quite very like the turbulent times, that you're still going back to the core, like, okay, what is it I want to do? Because it's actually an opportunity to move forward with a more aligned purpose of where you want to get to. Have I kind of summarized that a little bit correct?
Yeah, that's right. So whether it's me wanting to, you know, you know, I wouldn't say I shouldn't use the word preach, but whether it's me wanting to say to get people more aware of our financial literacy, or just being a safeguard themselves.
On the line, Andy. Try again.
Sorry, can you hear me?
Yeah, now I can hear you. There was just a little bit of crackling on the line. Sorry about that.
So what I meant was we're looking at what is the best way to get to an outcome. Sorry, I'm lost now.
It's okay, sorry, the microphone. So let's go back to that. What tools was it that you stayed to be resilient? And one of the things we talked about was that how you kind of found that this was actually a time where you could actually kind of realign yourself a bit, looking at your core, and then moving forward again.
Yeah, exactly. So it's about understanding your very centered or core belief in whatever it is you do. You know, you as a person or you as a business, and just reassessing that,
Mm-hmm.
and then looking at ways to help you get back on that road, to achieve those goals. And it's the same thing. So even in financial planning, it's pretty much the same sort of methodology. So it's something that I've turned inward into myself as well.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So what would you say to any leaders or business owners out there who may be going through some turbulent times as well at the moment? What advice would you give to them, or what would you say to them?
Well, I think know yourself, be flexible, um, look at alternatives, where they may be, and I think just be able to see the silver lining that all this too shall pass. That this is a blip that's happened now. Yes, it's certainly one of the worst blips that we've had in recent history. Um, but able to assess where we sit here, and if there needs to be a severe change of plan, to not be afraid to go through with it as well. So I don't think that all things can remain the same or in a status quo. Um, I think it's having that realization whether or not you can do it on your own, or if you need further professional help to get you to where you want to be.
Okay, thank you very much, Andy. It's great to hear some of those, and some of the things I've heard before as well is that even though a lot of people sitting currently in a situation where they think, oh, this really seems quite difficult, but actually there are ways forward, and it's about finding that silver lining, actually looking at what is it you can be grateful for that this current situation might actually give you that otherwise you haven't. So looking at that positive psychology is something from other people also I've interviewed this week. That there seems to be a bit of a thread there. So thank you very much, Andy.
Crucial, and thank you, Matty, for your for me having me attending your course before, which also brought some of these things up. Very timely.
Yeah, I hope to be able to share more, and I look forward to launch this series next week. And until we meet again, Andy, then look after yourself, and I'm sure we'll catch up soon. Somewhere in the world when planes are flying again and networking events are back up and running. Until then, we'll just keep it online.
Alrighty. Thank you, Matty. Stay
Thank
safe.
you. Look after yourself.
Make sure you follow Mimia Global social media. We are on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and WeChat. I look forward to engaging with you so you can perform in a world of change.